I bring this up all the time, but like watching Roddy White, and I only say this because I'm a Falcons fan, old-time name for you folks.
Yeah.
Roddy White played at UAB, actually. I think
That
he
is
played
correct.
in Doak one year. It was good. Watching him go from Michael Vick to Matt Ryan, it was like all of a sudden he became one of the best receivers in the league because Michael Vick had a lot of strengths. Throwing with anticipation wasn't maybe one of them. And so Roddy White looked like an average receiver where people wanted to get rid of him. They thought he was a bust. He was a first-round pick they wasted. And then lo and behold, there's a quarterback that really sees it well, gets rid of the ball quickly, gets it to you in a good spot, and Roddy White's one of the best receivers in the league. That stuff happens all the time. So, again, let's see what it looks like with hopefully, Aslan, improved quarterback play.
You sound like you want the show to end, which is
I do.
That would have been a good way. But I want to play this on the way out because we will be at practice today and tomorrow.
You say we, it's the royal we.
Correct.
It's Warchant.
Yes.
Will be at practice, not necessarily Corey Clark.
Correct. We've lost Corey, everybody. He's not coming back until.
I ain't ever coming back.
But obviously, everybody's going to want to know how DJ's going to look, how Brock's going to look. And, Florida State's not alone in this situation where they've got a quarterback who seemingly is doing really well in practice but hasn't been able to carry it over to the field. Hugh Freeze was asked about, the situation he's in with at Auburn. He's got a guy, second-year transfer that he's been with, decide to ride with this guy and just kind of what to do when it comes to a guy that's practicing well but not necessarily playing well. So I wanted to play this and kind of get your thoughts on it, Corey.
It's really hard for me to not play a young man that consistently is the best performer in practice over and over and over and over again, and his execution of the offense, which has been pretty clear to all of us that throughout camp and throughout the practice weeks and everything, his performance and his understanding of what we want to do has been better than the others. And if you do that, then you kind of send a message that practice really doesn't matter.
And that's kind of where I'm at, Corey. I get it, man. I get wanting to see something different. There's a different skill set. Maybe it opens up some new things, but I just wonder, as a coach who prefaces and preaches that the work works, if one guy is working better, I know it's practice. I just wonder how can you push him aside for somebody that's not working as well in practice.
Yeah, I see what I get it too. I've never once lauded Brock Glenn for being the better quarterback in practice. I just think there's that, as you talked about, that athleticism that maybe opens up some things, and it would be an offense change, not necessarily a quarterback change, if that makes sense. Like you're changing what you do on offense. You are going to run the zone read. You are going to have the quarterback be an actual legitimate running threat. But it's at the same time, if DJ struggles again and keeps missing wide open receivers, panicky too quick, not seeing it down the field in a game, at some point how they act in a game matters. Now Auburn is 1-1. The kid looked fine in the first game, looked skittish and bad in the second game. If he looks bad again in the third game or in the fourth game, well then, at some point what you do when it matters with the lights on is going to impact your play. And I would equate it to, we hear all the time when we're covering this baseball team or any baseball team, the guy is he's got nasty stuff. He is lights out. He's got great stuff. Yeah, in a scrimmage. Now, when he's facing Florida on a Tuesday night and he throws 12 balls out of his first 14 pitches, well, you can't just keep running the kid out there. So that it's the same thing. Like if he can't handle the moment in a game on the stage, practice it almost becomes irrelevant. And so, and again, it's not like I think the Auburn kid isn't nearly as experienced, I don't think, as DJ, who is.
Close, though. He played a lot of football in Michigan
Yeah,
State
you're
before
right.
he came
You're
down
right.
here.
And he wasn't. He hasn't had a lot of success either, I guess. But yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Except if the kid continues to not look anything in a game like he does in practice. If you have a jump shooter that hits everything in practice but shoots 21% in games, at some point you're gonna be like, I can't play you, man. Your only job is to shoot. And if you can't make shots when it matters, you got to sit on the bench. We got a lot of guys that can miss shots, but do other things. Like if P.J. Savoy, a name from a few years ago.
I love it, man.
Yeah, man, if he was missing his open threes, well, he has no reason to be on the team if he's doing that. It's not like he's a great defender. He's not a distributor. He's out there solely to shoot and make jump shots. And if he starts missing a lot of jump shots, he becomes unplayable. And if DJ continues to miss layups, if he continues to look rattled and shaken and a little bit not sure of himself, then okay, great. He looks perfectly in control on a Wednesday. The games aren't played on a Wednesday, and they're not played in the IPF. And at some point, it's not just making a change to make a change. You'll be making a change because this kid legitimately gives you the best chance to win because the kid you're playing has given you no chance to win through 2 games. That's
listen,
all.
If DJ gives you a replay of the first half versus Boston College,
that's a wrap.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I completely anticipate him starting against Memphis. Unless Brock has a really good week of practice. I think Brock with 2 good days, 3 good days, because we won't be able to see the practice that happens on Thursday, I think can take the job away from him. But if he practices the way he did last Friday when we saw them on the bye week, I don't think that's anywhere near the sort of referendum for Norvell to do the change. But yes, man, if they go out there and they've got 2 first downs, 3 first downs in the first half against Memphis, and even if it's a drop ball that killed the drive, man, I do think at that point you can make the change and you have probably a good solid leg or 2 to stand on.
Well, and it would be great. They could use a road game again. There's a lot of pressure that comes from playing at home for this kid. It really is. It's a different, unique pressure. I think DJ, the team is probably better served for playing in Doak, but DJ would be better served if the game was in Memphis because there's going to be some noise, right? You talk about outside noise. It's going to be deafening if they go 3 and out a couple of times in the first quarter against Memphis and don't look good. He's going to be booed, honestly. He'll probably be booed the first incompletion he has. That's just the nature of sports now. And when you haven't looked good through 2 games. And I wouldn't say Brock Glenn can go win the job this week in practice. What he could do is get himself in position that if DJ does struggle early, they'll put Brock Glenn in. You know what I mean? I don't think Brock is going to push him aside because he looks good on a Wednesday and a Thursday. But he could get himself into the conversation where if it doesn't look good again in the first half or the first 3 drives on Saturday, they will be like, Brock showed us enough that we trust him. Go in there and get us some points, man. Yeah. I think that's what he can accomplish. Get himself at least ready to be a replacement if it's needed. But it ain't going to be needed. Ain't going to be needed, Aslan. DJU's going to light him up.
There we go. Well said, better said.